When it comes to Shadur Sanders, one thing is certain: no matter what he does, it's always up for critique. And lately, that criticism has turned into one of the most talked about debates in sports media. But the tide is slowly beginning to shift. What started as an overwhelming storm of backlash is now transforming into a wave of growing support. Fans are rallying behind him, analysts are rethinking their stance, and even his harshest critics are beginning to see things differently. One of those voices belongs to Cam Newton, who has taken a bold stand in calling out what he sees as blatant unfairness. Toward Shedeur, Cam didn't hold back. He spoke with conviction about the double standards the media has placed on Shedeur, exposing the hidden biases that shape how the young quarterback is perceived. Newton pointed out that the Cleveland football scene has turned into a circus of selective outrage, where players are often criticized for reasons that seem baseless or exaggerated. But his words weren't just about Shedeur, they touched on something bigger, something systemic. The way the media has chosen to frame Shadur's story reflects a much deeper issue. Control.cam made it clear that what's happening to Shadur Sanders goes far beyond normal sports criticism. It's about power, image, and narrative. He pointed out that Shedeur isn't just any young player trying to find his place. He's the first fifth-round, third-string quarterback in NFL history to command this much attention, loyalty, and support from fans. And that, Newton says, has unsettled people at the top. The NFL isn't used to seeing a backup quarterback with this level of influence, and it's making some in the league uncomfortable, in Newton's eyes. The backlash Shadur faces is not a reaction to his performance, it's a reaction to his power. Every time he steps onto the field, he brings energy, confidence, and a level of swagger that the system doesn't know how to contain. Newton insists that the scrutiny is excessive, personal, and deliberate. The more Shadur progresses, the harder the attacks come. To him, that's not a coincidence, it's a strategy. A calculated effort to keep Shadur from rewriting the rules of what a young, confident quarterback can look like in today's league. And this criticism doesn't just come from anonymous voices or angry fans online. It's coming from all directions, even within his own circle. His teammate Dillon Gabriel recently made a few statements that many saw as subtle digs at Shadur. Gabriel implied that he prioritizes being a team player and hinted that Shadur may not share that same focus. The comments added fuel to the already heated debate and created the impression of tension in the locker room. But the real issue wasn't Gabriel's words, it was how the media handled them. When Gabriel made his remarks, the coverage was light, almost sympathetic. Analysts quickly moved on, framing his comments as harmless or misunderstood. But when Shadur shows confidence or speaks up for himself, the reaction is the complete opposite. Suddenly, headlines explode, debates ignite, and the narrative shifts to paint him as arrogant or immature. It's a double standard that's hard to ignore. The same behavior that earns others praise somehow earns Shadur criticism. Even respected voices in the sports world have weighed in. Stephen A. Smith reminded Shedeur that his life will always be under a microscope because of who his father is. Being Deion Sanders' son, he said, comes with an automatic spotlight, one that amplifies every move, word, and mistake. It is time that Shadur Sanders understands that every little thing he does is under a microscope, Stephen A. said. And he's right. The expectations placed on Shadur aren't just high, they're nearly impossible. He's expected to be flawless, humble, confident, quiet, outspoken, and deferential all at once. Ryan Clark also chimed in, delivering one of the most grounded perspectives on the entire situation. He told Shedeur to face reality head-on, that the world is going to twist everything he says or does. You have to understand it's unfair, Clark said. The way you are criticized, the way people break down everything you do, that's the reality. His advice was simple but powerful. Be transparent. Don't hide, don't run, and don't let others control the story. Because the more Shadur tries to avoid controversy, the more others will define it for him. Clark's point cuts to the heart of Shedur's struggle. It's not just about football, it's about identity and control. Every athlete faces scrutiny, but for Shadur, the pressure is magnified by his last name. Deion Sanders isn't just his father. He's a cultural icon, a trailblazer, who broke barriers and reshaped how confidence is perceived in sports. That legacy is both a blessing and a curse. It gives Shadur a powerful platform, but it also makes him a target. People don't just want to see if he can play, they want to see if he can live up to the legend. Cam Newton, who has lived through a similar experience, knows that struggle all too well. He's been the flashy quarterback, the one criticized for celebrating too much, smiling too wide, and speaking too boldly. And now, years later, he's watching Shedeur go through the same thing, only worse. That's why he's speaking out. He recognizes that Shadur's confidence isn't arrogance, it's survival. It's the armor a young black quarterback needs to wear in a league that still struggles with individuality and expression. The conversation around Shedeur has become a reflection of something bigger than football. It's about how much freedom an athlete truly has in shaping his own image. Newton's words cut deep. You may not be able to relate to what he's doing or how he's doing it, but you can't control and make it be what you want it to be, because it's not that. In other words, Shedeur isn't here to fit into anyone's expectations. He's carving out his own lane, one that challenges tradition and forces people to rethink what leadership and confidence look like. At the end of the day, Shadur Sanders is doing exactly what he was raised to do: perform, persevere, and protect his legacy. The hate, the doubt, the endless scrutiny, all of it comes with the territory. But what's becoming clear is that he's not alone. The same media that once mocked him is starting to question its own narrative. The same fans who doubted him are now defending him. And the same critics who once labeled him a problem are starting to admit that maybe, just maybe, he's been right all along. The storm around Shedeur isn't over, but something has changed. The noise is still there, but now it's being met with something stronger: unity. Fans, analysts, and even former players are beginning to see through the double standard. They're realizing that Shedeur isn't the villain the headlines make him out to be. He's a young athlete trying to define himself in a system that doesn't like. Someone refuses to play by its rules. So as the season unfolds, all eyes will remain on Shadur Sanders. Every pass, every comment, every move will be dissected and debated. But this time, he's ready. He knows the weight of the spotlight. He's aware of the critics. And more importantly, he's learning how to use their noise as fuel. Because if there's one thing Shedur's story proves, it's that confidence isn't the problem, it's the weapon. What do you think about the way Shadur Sanders is being treated? Is he being unfairly criticized for simply being himself? Or is the media holding him to a higher standard because of his last name? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into stories the mainstream media won't tell you.